This is a short video designed to answer questions you might have about your options for buying a defib. We've helped many owners improve safety at their studio and we'd love to help you also. There are 4 devices for you to choose from that range in price from budget right through to the best device in the market. And the great news is that all these devices have excellent features and a low cost of ownership compared to all other devices on the market. The first package that we have on offer is the Budget Buster. It's the Samaritan 360p and is an excellent device that delivers the lowest total cost of ownership of any device in the market. It's easy to use, extremely rugged, and only requires battery and pad changes once in its 8-year warranty life. Being a budget device though, it doesn't have some of the features that the more expensive 2 models have. Its CPR coaching is adequate but rudimentary, and it doesn't connect to the internet for monitoring purposes. It also doesn't have a seamless child mode, something that the LifePak CR2 does. The other budget option that you have is the LifePak CR Plus. Where the CR Plus is weaker than the 360p is that it requires battery and pad changes every 2 years, not every 4, meaning additional expense and burden in years 2 and 6 of your 8-year ownership period. Where it's better than the 360p though is it shocks up to 360 joules, which may be helpful if you're trying to treat a larger patient. You choose the 360p if you needed a small portable defib, if the defib is going to be used in an environment where there's a lot of dust or moisture, if you want a low maintenance defib that only requires 1 battery and pad change in its 8-year life, or finally, if price is your primary decision criteria, as it's the lowest cost device in the market. You'd choose the CR Plus if 1, there was a high likelihood that the defib would need to be used to save a larger person, or secondly, if you're familiar with the LifePak brand and liked it as it's trusted by emergency services personnel the world over. If at all possible, we recommend purchasing the 500p CPR Champion over the 360p. The reason for this is it has vital life-saving technology called CPR Advisor.
CPR Advisor measures the change in impedance and uses this to determine the appropriate feedback to the rescuer, advising them to
push faster, push harder, push slower.
It will also provide feedback when the chest compressions are correct.
Good compressions.
This can be vitally important. One great example is where a woman who knew that her husband had a heart condition purchased the 500p. He had a heart attack and, despite all her training, she wasn't strong enough to provide the CPR that he needed. Luckily, her son was nearby. He, even though he wasn't trained in CPR at all, with the help of this device, was able to perform high-quality CPR and save his father's life. The final device offered to f45 studios is the premium monitored LifePak CR2 Wi-Fi device, which is arguably the best publicly accessible defibrillator on the market today. The first feature that it has that differentiates it from the 2 HeartSign products is the ability to shock to up to 360 joules. What an AED is trying to do is to stop the heart completely of a patient whose heart rhythm is not functioning properly, in the hope that when it restarts again, it will have a working rhythm. Joules quite simply represents the power output available to the AED to achieve that job. So is having more power better? The larger a patient is, the more difficult they may be to defibrillate. Clinical studies suggest that having access to up to 360 joules of power can deliver better patient outcomes. The second attractive feature of the LifePak CR2 is a seamless integrated child mode. It's particularly attractive for studios that may have an associated creche or just people who know there are young children about near their studio and want to be in a position to help them in the instance that they suffer from sudden cardiac arrest. So what is a child mode on an AED? Child mode adjusts the AED's configuration to make it more suitable to someone 8 years or younger. If you're at all in doubt as to whether a patient is 8 years or younger, the recommendation is for you to proceed with adult mode. Now the AED achieves this through two key ways. The first is that it reduces the joules output to be more appropriate to a child's heart, but it also encourages you to place the pads on different parts of the body to ensure more likely a successful shock. There are two basic types of child-enabled AEDs. The first requires the user to physically change the pads or insert a key to put the device into child mode. The second, as we're about to see, is as simple as pressing a button.
Adult mode. Remove all clothing from child mode. Remove all clothing from patient's chest.
So what do our premium devices offer that the mid-range don't? And the main answer to that is connectivity. Our premium devices can be logged onto the internet via Wi-Fi or cellular technology to ensure that you know they're ready to use, to advise you when they have been used, and to let you know if there's a problem that needs addressing. The CR2 also has a feature called CPR Insight. Most AEDs will require the person administering CPR to stop that CPR while it's analysing the patient's heart rhythm to see if it's got a shockable rhythm. The CR2 is unique in that it enables more hands-on CPR time by enabling the first aider to continue CPR compressions whilst analysing the patient's heart rhythm.
Now, two small things you should be aware of. The first is that there's limited availability of the CR2 at present. Some studios who ordered early have already received their CR2, others are still waiting, but it's important if you do want the premium monitored solution that you order now, as soon as it's ordered you'll be placed in the queue and receive your defib at an earlier rate. The second thing is that in some instances the defibs and the brackets are being shipped separately. This might occur because the bracket's in stock or the defib isn't, but more likely because the defib's got a lithium-ion battery and might need to be transported differently, as it's regarded as a dangerous item to transport by toll priority who will be delivering the defib to your studio.
So what's next? Well, once you've ordered and paid for your defib, we'll immediately place the order with the supplier. If the AED is in stock, it will ship almost immediately. Once it's shipped, we'll send you instructions for how to set up the device, as well as a training video and any additional information you might require.
If you're at all unsure or just want to speak to an expert to learn more, give us a call on 1300 737 250 today.